Hello and welcome to California Bountiful. I'm your host, Aubrey Aquino. There's nothing better than getting a first-hand taste of California agriculture. So for this episode, we're looking back at the ways we've got a true taste of the Golden State, starting with our trip to the Temecula Valley. In the center of Southern California, Temecula Valley wine country is home to an emerging and evolving culinary scene, small-town atmosphere, and plenty of agritourism inspired by the vine.
What's so interesting about winemaking is that we're not just out for production or for tonnage. We're out for quality, and we're also out for expression.
Wilson Creek is a family-owned winery where vineyard manager Greg Pennyroyal has been implementing regenerative farming practices since its inception.
To make really great wine, you want grapes that are biochemically balanced. And the way you get that is by having biochemically balanced soil and a healthy system, so the whole thing's working as a total system. We focus on the health of the plants. I do a bi-weekly SAP analysis, which is sort of like doing a blood test if you're in a hospital. And we look at what deficiencies or what excesses the plants might have. And then we have micro brewers and bio brewers, and we have all sorts of stuff that we make these concoctions of sort of like kefir yogurts, and we feed it to the plants. We're spoon feeding the plants all season long, because what we're after is that maximum biochemical complexity and density of the grapes. And it's that complexity that makes great wines.
And where there's wine, it's not unusual to find this flowering plant.
We are a local lavender farm, and this is our store. We grow everything, just lavender, and there's lavender in all of our products. We have about 6,000 plants, so it's not huge. It's not a huge farm, but it's plenty for me. I use everything I grow.
Farm to store, here visitors can shop and pick up some TLC.
Basics bath and body home care is what we call it. We have candles, we have soaps, we have lotions. We do have shampoo, salt scrubs, body butters, shea butter, massage oil, and of course the essential oils.
Just minutes away from Old Town in the mountains of Duluth is Maryland Farms, where they grow macadamia nuts. Owner Kurt runs the farm and also collaborates with other growers in the region.
And they're a great tree because they're drought resistant, they tolerate cold. You water them and they'll grow here in this climate. These trees drop 6 to 8 months out of the year, and we hand pick them off the ground and then husk them and then dry them and process them.
When it comes to olive oil, the Temecula Olive Oil Company is 100% committed to using only the highest quality California fruit.
We're in Awanga, California, just outside of Temecula, and this is where we started our olive grove and our business over 20 years ago.
It's a family-owned operation where the SoCal climate is a factor in all of its success.
Really, the only place that can grow olives consistently in the United States is California. It's one of the easiest things to farm in the world. They don't require a lot of water. Nothing wants to eat an olive off the tree, so we don't have to worry about the birds and kids next door or anything like that. I don't know if you've ever had an olive right off the tree, but it's memorable. You'll never forget how bad it tastes.
And they pioneered an engaging way to experience their liquid gold.
It was actually the first olive oil tasting room in the country. And people found their way to this little out-of-the-way tasting room, and we continued to grow. And it obviously wasn't a stupid idea, because now we have 7 tasting rooms around Southern California.
Then, for a fast casual approach to a true taste of Temecula, make sure to eat.
We're at Extraordinary Artisan Table, and the locals refer to us very fondly as Eat Marketplace. And we're in Old Town Temecula, in one of the largest ag counties in the state of California. So when you walk in to eat, you get a cafe, you get dining, you get deli, you get provisional marketplace, you get a coffee and smoothie bar, you get a wine bar, and that's a lot. But when you walk in the door, we want you to know where you're at, and that starts with our staff. So we pull from 12 different farmers from Vista to right here in the Temecula Valley, our olive oils, our wines, our beers, our kombuchas, and I feel really fortunate to have that.
Leah Delight DiBernardo is the founder and chef at Eat, whose approach to food is delicious, healthy, and educational.
You cook, you serve people, right? So where is the food coming from? Who is growing it? how is the health of the soil? What is that final outcome going to be? Because if we're talking every day, I see you at Costco, or I see you here in Old Town, or I see you at a coffee shop, or I see you in a local government meeting. It's really nice to know that we're all healthy, that we've got this gut-brain connection that's clear. I am really proud that we have one of the most profound regenerative agriculture happening here in this valley. Like our care for our soil and a clear understanding of our future and the future of food, we're all at the table in that discussion most every day.
Coming up on California Bountiful, a salmon dish for your summer senses. And up next, we're on the trail for the Golden State's official vegetable. California Bountiful is brought to you by the California Farm Bureau.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
California Farm Bureau's all-new podcast, Voice of California Agriculture, is streaming now. Tune in for the latest farm and food news, legislative updates, and more. Listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can also visit cfbf.com to access the podcast links. Discover more California Bountiful and get social with us. See the stories we're working on and get a peek behind the scenes. Plus, more recipes and fun facts, and join other like-minded foodies and fans of California's bounty. Find, follow, and talk to us at CA Bountiful.
You love your pet and would do pretty much anything for them. But sometimes pet healthcare costs can make your wallet growl. That's why we created My Pet Protection, pet insurance designed exclusively for employees like you. Get reimbursed for eligible veterinary expenses. Enjoy extra perks like Vet Helpline, Pet RX Express, and more. Use any vet anywhere. Signing up is easy. Just tell us about your pet and choose your level of reimbursement. My Pet Protection is available only through your employer. Get a no-obligation quote today.
Welcome back. Monterey County's Artichoke Trail is bridging the vegetable from farm to fork with unique culinary experiences down Artichoke Alley and Highway 1. Take a look. This'll be fun. Where the rich, fertile soil of the Salinas Valley meets the sands of the Pacific Ocean, this region provides optimal growing conditions for artichokes year-round.
The artichokes are pretty climate-driven. They like to have cool temperatures, mist, fog, and rich soil, and the peninsula has that soil in abundance.
Nearly 2/3 of the world's artichokes are grown in Monterey County, and now visitors can see Monterey by embarking on its new Artichoke Trail.
I love it. I think it's great. You know, it's the California vegetable. It's kind of a romantic vegetable, and the peninsula being a place of tourism and you know, couples going and enjoying the views. I think this vegetable fits in perfectly for that. Artichokes kind of get forgotten about quite a bit. There's quite a few people that don't even know what an artichoke is, let alone how to prepare or how to eat them. So, you know, highlighting the artichoke, I think, is a great thing to do. Multiple people can eat one single artichoke. You know, you're peeling layers of the artichoke, of the leaf, getting down to the heart. So there's a bit of sensuality to it. It's been called an aphrodisiac. Don't know if that's necessarily true or not, but we're gonna go with it.
Scatini Family Farms grows the original artichoke.
It has characteristics that are very tender, very meaty, big hearts, less cooking time. We have our artichokes in New York City. We have them up North Seattle, New Orleans. So it's kind of restaurant driven. We do a lot of restaurants, but we have a lot of boutique grocery stores that sell our artichokes too.
Split it right down the middle, open it up. So here's your stem. Your heart's gonna be in this area right here. You have your outer petals. We are just outside of Castroville, California, in one of our proprietary varieties of one of the purple varieties.
Ocean Mist Farms has been the gold standard of artichokes for nearly 100 years, growing multiple varieties.
Some people think that the purples have a little nuttier flavor. It offers a little different eating experience, especially when you put it on a plate. It definitely looks a little bit different. grand scheme of things, it still looks and tastes like an artichoke.
And they're included as one of the more than 20 stops along the Artichoke Trail.
It's great exposure to an amazing vegetable. It happens to be our state vegetable. Your largest artichoke is going to be right here on your primary bud. This is going to be your 12. This is the largest artichoke that this plant is going to produce. So you have your primary, your secondary, and your tertiary, and they adjust in size accordingly.
Aside from the farms, markets, and other attractions, restaurants are also listed as must-stops, like Phil's Fish Market, where visitors can get a local taste of artichoke flavor.
My background is from Monterey, California. I was born and raised in a Sicilian family, and they had artichokes abundance of different ways, and my grandmothers both cooked them. And I can remember as a child, my grandfather would get a bucket of fish from the wharf and come over here and change it for a basket of artichokes. And so I was maybe 5 or 6 years old. And so that's a mainstay with seafood and artichokes. Being close to Castroville, we start putting in artichokes in our menu, and it just kept growing with that.
And there's one dish at Phil's that's not to be missed: artichoke provençal.
It's fresh shrimp and scallops sauteed with the artichokes in the middle with the wine sauce that we do with butter and garlic and shallots. So it's really good.
But those aren't the only artichokes on the menu.
Deep fried artichoke is one of the number ones that we do with the hearts. We get them right from the field, we steam them up, get them cut up and batter them in a beer batter, and then we deep fry them for the customers to come in. The rock shrimp pasta with artichoke hearts with a shrimp, and what we use there is a rock shrimp with the scallops, and that's done in a butter and a wine sauce. That's very popular over linguine. Steam artichoke we do in the morning. We steam them up and we serve them either cold with mayonnaise, or we also serve them with butter, drawn butter.
For a vegetable that's long been misunderstood, the Artichoke Trail is really putting it on the map and will guide visitors to get up close and discover this regional delicacy. Just ahead, a sampling of SacTown Bites along the Sacramento Delta. And then after the break, we're making some cheese. You're watching California Bountiful.
Hey, Brad, you know how Nationwide is more than an insurance company?
Oh, yeah. They're one of America's largest financial services companies.
Could we get that in a song like Business Life Retirement?
Or Nationwide's there to protect.
Maybe leave the songs to me.
But I'm the one with 3 Grammys.
I'm kind of the jingle guy.
Not sure I agree with that.
Well, I'm not sure I like your hat.
Well, it would never fit on you.
Wow.
You love your pet and would do pretty much anything for them. But sometimes pet healthcare costs can make your wallet growl. That's why we created My Pet Protection, pet insurance designed exclusively for employees like you. Get reimbursed for eligible veterinary expenses. Enjoy extra perks like Vet Helpline, Pet RX Express, and more. Use any vet anywhere. Signing up is easy. Just tell us about your pet and choose your level of reimbursement. My Pet Protection is available only through your employer. Get a no-obligation quote today.
I'm here in Sonoma, making a stop along the California Cheese Trail at the Epicurean Connection, where they're unleashing the flavors of wine country and beyond. Today, I'm going to get schooled in one of their hands-on cheese-making classes. At the Epicurean Connection, they're curdling a new crop of cheesemakers.
I think it's a unique experience. They do get to succeed at it. We've worked really hard to make sure that everyone walks out of here successfully becoming a cheesemaker.
Wine educator Ben Sessions and his wife Shauna Davis, a renowned cheesemaker, share their passion for this dairy delight in an approachable yet engaging way.
We really encourage people and we let them do it themselves. We're not trying to dictate every single action they do, really let them explore on their own.
Giving willing participants a chance to savor an unforgettable cheesemaking experience.
Today we're going to make creme de ricotta. The ingredients are just whole milk, heavy cream, a little bit of salt, and distilled white vinegar. And from there they will get 3 pounds of cheese.
Today's lesson is all about how to make creme de ricotta. And while that started to heat up, we got to whet our appetites with an artisanal cheese tasting.
So here's our creme de fromage. And your tasty spoons are right here on the table.
Tasting while cooking, so necessary, but back to the task at hand.
Yeah, and one thing we're not going to do is scrape the bottom of the pot.
A key factor in the cheese-making process is using the right tools and proper technique.
The test is you lay the ladle on top of the curds. If it sinks, you've made a mistake. If it doesn't sink, you've made cheese. And let go. It didn't sink, you've made cheese.
I must say, I was pretty impressed with myself and how easy it was to concoct creme de ricotta. And I certainly enjoyed customizing my creation, sprinkling, mixing, and adding some spice to the queso.
I would like more ginger personally, but...
Yum! This is one tasty class where students always leave with both a new culinary skill and a creamy treat to take home.
Hi, I'm Leslie Dabney and I'm the Vineyard Mom. Food and wine pairing is my passion, and today I'm going to share with you one of my favorite family recipes. It's grilled salmon over cauliflower mash. Let me show you how I make this dish. First, I started off with some cauliflower that I bought at the farmer's market. I actually cooked it in some boiling water with some salt till it was really tender. I pureed it to this beautiful mash with a little bit of salt and pepper and of course some butter for flavor. Now for the salmon. I grilled my salmon, but of course you can go ahead and saute it or you can roast it. Either way it's going to be fine. So I'm going to add this beautiful salmon to the top, and as I said, I have some fun toppings for it. I have a delicious caper and beautiful fresh lemon juice with some butter. I'm going to spoon it right over the top. And you want to get enough on so that beautiful sauce goes right over that cauliflower mash. Now, I'm not done with the fun toppings. I'm going to add some really fresh microgreens that I got at the farmer's market. This is going to add so much flavor, some texture, and some really great flavor. And I have 2 wine pairings to go with this beautiful dish. For a white wine, I'm going to do a Sauvignon Blanc. This is a really crisp, light white wine that pairs perfectly with this dish. But if you want to have something a little bit more fun, a rosé goes well with it too. With its watermelon and strawberry aroma, it has a little bit of a drier finish, but it tastes fantastic. For all of my food and wine pairings, just go to @thevineyardmomliving on Instagram. Cheers!
Now, your bountiful landscapes.
Hello, my name is Catherine Emery. I'm a 20-year home improvement and lifestyle expert. I am so excited to be talking to you about, guess what else? Garden accessories, because let's face it, we can garden in California all year long. Don't we love that? So my advice to you would be to get started with a good pair of gloves from whatever you're doing out there in the garden. From potting to planting to weeding to landscaping, digging, raking, mowing. There are gloves out there just for you. Even these high cuff gloves for those rose bushes. But let's talk about also getting functionality, but style as well. It's out in the garden. You want to have some fun. You can see these, I'm accessorized by Diggs. I really dig it. Do you see what I did there? I found them at Home Depot, and as you can see, I start with my gloves and I go from there. Now what else do I need while I'm out in the garden? Do I want to carry things around with me? They've got really great tool belts as well as tool bags, depending on what exactly you want to cart around with you. Now let's talk about getting down in that dirt. It can be tough on the knees. So Diggs has these great brand new, just hit the market, kneeling pad. Look at how thick this foam is. Again, beautiful design, it's waterproof. Of course, let's not forget about that sun. So check out this brand new straw hat, wide brim, breathable, lightweight, looks amazing, might I add. They also have other hats that you can accessorize and really match that pattern. Check out this brand new cooling towel. So this is water activated. It's got its SPF barrier as well as an antimicrobial agent on it to protect any growth and mildew from growing on it. But you wear it as a headband, you wear it around your neck. You're really keeping cool when you need to be cool out there in the garden. So more information on great gardening accessories, go to BeTheBestHome.com.
Up next, a taste of the Delta with SacTown Bites.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
The California Farm Bureau has protected the diverse agricultural interests in the Golden State for over a century. As part of the California Farm Bureau, you'll add your voice to the combined strength of over 34,000 farmers, ranchers, and families through our state. That means more connections, more influence, and more opportunity to fight for the issues that impact your life. With your support behind us, California Farm Bureau's robust government affairs, federal policy and farm PAC, and legal teams work tirelessly to advocate at all levels of government, protecting and promoting our shared way of life. Together, California Farm Bureau and our members are standing up for farmers, ranchers, and families throughout the Golden State every day, working to cultivate a bountiful future for all Californians.
Welcome back. Known as the heart of California, there's much to explore and discover along the California Delta, including tasty tour stops with SacTown Bites.
I'm a food tour operator. I have walking food tours in Sacramento and Midtown and Old Sac. I have a mural tour, and then I have these excursions that are about a half day, and we do all kinds of things like farm visits and olive oil tasting, wine tasting, behind the scenes tours. They're a lot of fun.
SacTown Bites is giving its guests a taste of the capital city and beyond through food tours showcasing the diverse flavors the Sacramento region has to offer.
Food tours are so popular, and once you've done one, you become pretty obsessed with them and you want to do them everywhere you go, wherever you travel, because it's a really great way to get to know a city or a town in a couple of hours. On the walking tours, we stop at 4 or 5 restaurants, so you're really getting kind of a good lay of the land. I think the more you understand where your food comes from, the more you appreciate it. And so when you're buying produce and really paying attention to where it comes from and how it was grown, you're gonna, appreciate that more, and it's gonna taste better, and it carries all the way through to the plate. And it starts with the farmers.
Wanderlusts have a variety of excursions to pick from, like walking tours in Midtown or historic Old Sacramento. Even a downtown mural and art walk capped off with a sweet treat.
Most of my tours are year-round. My walking tours, you can book almost every day of the week. Some of my farm tours change with the season, like my Cape tour. We don't operate it between July and the middle of September because it's just too hot. It's very, very hot in Cape Valley at that time, and not so pleasant to be walking around a farm.
And speaking of farms, that piqued our interest, so we set out for a taste of the Delta.
We are on the beautiful property of Hemley Cider in Cortland, California, right smack in the middle of the Delta. And it's a cidery, and so we're here to taste some cider and go on a little tasting tour of the area. Hemley Cider is really the anchor of this tour for me. We're on a property that is owned by a 6th generation pear growing family. We're in the largest concentrated pear growing region in the world. And Sarah Hemley, who married into the Hemley family, had the genius idea to start making cider out of pears, which turns out is actually pretty tricky to do, but she's super gifted, and the cider's delicious.
Elderberry, then you have pink lady apple,
Delta roots, and jalapeno pear.
It's really fun to bring people down here and let them kind of discover how beautiful it is. It's, you know, it's all along the Sacramento River, these tree-lined roads, and all these little hidden gems out here. And this is an absolutely beautiful place. It's like no other tasting room you will ever come across. It's built in an old airplane hangar. It's very casual. People bring their dogs and their kids, and they have, you know, cornhole games and croquet. And it's just a really fun way to spend some time. It builds community when you realize that this pear was hand-picked, it was hand-harvested, it was hand-packed, the trees have to be hand-pruned, and then the effort that goes into making the cider. I think it just brings you closer to the product that you're eating or drinking, and just makes you appreciate it more.
Every single tour that comes through here, we've had great conversations with like every single person, and they end up like not being sure about cider, and because most people aren't, and that's completely fair. And then by the end of the time, they're asking questions and they're engaged, and they're like, I've never had a negative experience with any of the people that have come out, and I think they're all so different and from unique backgrounds.
After guests get their fill of the cidery, it's off to a lunch and wine pairing at Julietta Winery in Clarksburg, before finishing off the tour at Silt Wine Company.
Enjoy. We are a really small family business. It's myself, my husband who does all of our like CFO, CEO, he's the business aspect. My brother-in-law, they're identical twins. My brother-in-law is our winemaker. My sister-in-law does all weddings and events. My family's cousin is doing all the fulfillment in the area. It's a family sharing their heart and trying to have people come to a place they grew up and enjoy the wine. And so we are primarily growers first.
This is very clean, refined. All our wines are very fruit forward.
We sit them down. We always offer a welcome pour of sparkling. Our sparkling Chenin Blanc is a state vineyard grown, so it's right out back from us. Then we take them through 5 different wines paired with a plate of food that Heather has got from our stash and made a beautiful array of it, and we tell you what pairs well with what, and we kind of go from there.
It's an insightful journey into the terroir of the Delta region.
Having them experience the venue, having them experience the wine, and just having them understand that this is just their own adventure. So what pairs well with what is really up to them, and that's the fun experience of the wine tours.
Oftentimes I actually say goodbye to my guests at a certain point, and they stay and they have another glass of wine and they hang out. They kind of get hooked on the experience. I'm telling you, there is nothing better than showing up and having somebody make all the decisions for you. I've done all the planning, and all you have to do is just sit back and enjoy it and taste and eat and drink.
I always appreciate a yummy food tour. And that's all the time we have for this show. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Aubrey Aquino, and remember, you can always find us online at CaliforniaBountiful.com. Take care. We'll see you next time.